Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel Flash 001 USA. Today's Wednesday, it's June the 19th. The year is 2024. It's right around 3:30 in the afternoon. Now this is a follow-up garden video. The last one I uploaded was on May the 3rd, 2024. So that's what, about 2 weeks ago, 12, 14 days, somewhere around that area. Anyhow, this thing has taken off like a wildfire. And we're already harvesting food off of this thing. So I want to go ahead and get out here now with the camera and let you guys get a look at everything and just see how much this thing has shot up in the last couple of weeks. What I'm going to do right now is pause the camera and pull it off the tripod. We're going to take a walk around and let you guys get an up-close look at this. Stand by. Okay, starting with the corn. Now the last time I was out here, this corn, the highest section of it, was almost 5 feet tall. Get ready for this. 13 feet high. Some of this corn is 13 feet in height. The average out here is around 7 to 8 feet in height. That's incredible, man. Not only that, we're loaded with corn. We're loaded with it everywhere in here. And even the sucker branches or the sucker stalks that are coming out of the ground, they're loaded with stalks of corn on them. So this is really taking off. I didn't expect it to take off like this 2 weeks after making the first video of the year for the garden, but yeah, it's done really well. Let's knock on wood and hopefully it stays on this trajectory right here, because we're going to do good with it this year. Now in the last video I mentioned that I did some things different in here. I moved some stuff around and actually extended the garden. So right here, last year I ran green beans. This time I'm running black-eyed peas. And I made mention that these would probably take off when the weather got warm. And boy, I was right. I got to actually get out here and put some trellises on these things because I didn't realize that they would turn back around and run this stuff off of them like here. So now they're running little vines all over the place on them. And if I'm not careful, it's going to all go over into the corn and I'm going to have a big mess on my hands when I get out here to pick stuff. But anyhow, this stuff is taking off. It's starting to flower and we're going to be having black-eyed peas very soon. So I'm going to zoom in here and let you see what we got going on. So they're loaded, slam full of yellow flowers. And actually I see some baby beans here. I didn't catch that before. So yeah, this is done amazing. Just in 2 weeks time, this stuff has taken off very well. Now once again, I'm going to cover this. This is our okra. And the stalks on this, I'm hopefully you guys get a chance to see this. They're almost an inch in diameter. I'm probably not doing justice with this camera just because it's hard to see this viewfinder out in the sun. But yeah, they're thick and they're woody. And to give you an idea of how well this stuff is doing, let's do it like this right here. I'm going to put my hand onto a leaf to give you an idea how big these leaves are, because it probably doesn't show up in the camera like you think it would. Look at that. Now right now these plants are every bit of about 2.5 feet tall, and they got giant leaves, giant stalks on them. And when it comes to okra, as I mentioned last time, you don't need but about 5 or 6 plants for 1 or 2 people. Once these things kick in, it's like a machine gun. They're going to constantly shoot out okra on them just like bullets. They'll produce until the first frost comes along and tells them otherwise. Cantaloupe. Man, this is totally different from the last video 2 weeks ago. Now here's a baby one right here, and I'll give it a couple days and I'm going to go ahead and put a stalking on it to support it on the trellis here. But we're loaded. Here, 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 4, 5, there's about 8 in here. There's a bunch of them covered up with leaves. I don't want to go digging in here just because we've got all these bees flying around, but this stuff is loaded. Now that's just this side. Not only that, I'm going to see if you can see how big this is. That's the size of a full-grown cantaloupe that I would go get out of the grocery store, and they're still growing. At first, I thought maybe I accidentally started honeydew melon or something out here, because they haven't started to get that rough exterior where they start looking like cantaloupe. So these things are still putting on size with them. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with this. This stuff here is taking off. Now the prize so far is the green beans. Oh my God, these things have just, they've taken off like kudzu. That'd be about the best way to put it. So today I got out here, and this is also the reason I'm making this video. I got out here because I knew I had some beans to be picked, and just in one little corner over, I hadn't even got all through this yet, and this slammed loaded full of beans. But so far, just messing around, I got out here and picked this right here. So yeah, we're going to be having some green beans. Now, I don't know how a lot of people watching this video like to cook them, but we actually learned a really good method, of all places, from a Japanese restaurant. So we're going to stir fry these things. Basically, you put them in a good quality frying pan that has a lid. Use a little bit of olive oil, and you mix up your spices, whatever you're going to use. For me, we got our stuff we use up there, and you get the oil hot enough so that the beans will start cooking. You don't want it smoking hot, just hot enough that everything will cook. You throw the beans in there, you throw the spices, and use a spatula. You constantly flip it. Once they get cooked and the spices are sticking to the beans a little bit, you turn back around, add a tiny, minuscule amount of water, and that's going to create steam. And you put the lid over it, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and when those things come out of there, man, they're killer. So better than boiling them, hands down. Okay, enough of that. The potatoes. Man, this is nothing but it's like kudzu. So I think we're going to do really well with potatoes this year. And slam loaded full of flowers. You can't even see the cardboard boxes anymore. And mentioned, like I did last time, we put out twice as many this year. Actually, a little bit more. Last year, I think I put out 4 boxes. This time we put out 10. So the next thing would be the sweet potatoes. Now, the last video, I was mentioning to everybody that I had to hill them, which is just adding more soil to it as we go along. When I first started these off from the cuttings, I was probably about down here, maybe, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 inches soil at the most. And so now I'm 2/3 of the way up. You can see inside of here, what I do is let the vines take off, and then when they get really wired up in here, and I can tell they're trying to take off, I add soil to it. I got some soil over here that I've mixed up. This is field soil along with some good quality mixture with it, and I've still got maybe 7 or 8 more inches that I'll wind up hilling these up. So next day or 3 I'll get out here and hill them again, because it's now starting to go out the tops, which is what I want to do. And I'll take those vines and I'll curl them and fill this up full of soil, and the more root in here, the more sweet potatoes you have. So I'm going to hill them one last time, then I'm going to add a trellis to it, because now with this hot weather, these things will take off like you just wouldn't believe. So these guys are doing good. So let's move over to a couple more things we're done here. The onions, these things are kicking. I'm going to try to zoom in on one here. So we got some big stalks. I can even see, you can't see it, but I can pick up on the ground where we're starting to get a hump right there, where we got some nice red onions out here. Now the garlic we had, it ripened quickly this year, and we've already been picking some of it out of here. Basically what happens when you're looking at garlic, you're looking for the bottom, I don't know if you want to call them leaves or whatever you want to call them, but you look for the bottoms of them to start turning brown and dying off, and once that happens, you wait for about 3 or 4 of them up the stalk to start dying off, and then these things are about as ready as they're going to get. The only thing that I need to do now, and it's a lesson learned, is I'm either going to put a canopy over them next year to keep the direct sun off of them, or I got to go with something that's more adaptive to the hot weather. Oh, one more thing. Cantaloupe on this side. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. You can see them hanging here. I've got them on stalkings. That's how I support them on the trellis. And the stalkings will allow them to grow, but it keeps the weight off the vines themselves. So yeah, we're doing good, man. The reason I made this video now was because this has already taken off so much that by the time I get around to making another video, you're probably going to see me sitting there rubbing my belly as we're full of food over here. But yeah, can't beat this with a stick, man. It's done really, really well. And I was amazed to see the corn get this tall like it did. So far, this has been one of the better years of growing corn, and this stuff is leaps and bounds over how it was last year. Nobody around me that's growing corn has it this tall right here. But then again, I really prepped all this soil up. I done everything and got everything out extremely early this year, so that probably has a lot to do with it. Anyhow, enough of this. I wanted to share this with everybody and let you see what we had going on, because it's really doing well. So I'll just do another drive-by here and speak very little with it. Yeah, I'm proud of this. A lot of work went into it, still going into it, to keep it from getting overrun with grass and everything, because these are raised beds, and I got to get in here with the weed eater and eat out in between everything to keep it from getting overrun, so it doesn't get all snaky. But yeah, man, stays on this trajectory right here, we're going to have some good eating out of here. Looks like we already started it with the green beans. Now my neighbor, same way, their beans were ready. His took off also. There you go. Oh, one more thing here. I actually do have a little bit more garlic up here on the porch right here, and it looks like it's finishing up too, so we're doing good. Next year I know how to do that, and it's going to be a little bit better than it was this year. But everything else, shoot, man, I can tell right now that we're going to have more green beans than we know what to do with. I won't be canning them this year. Instead, I think we're going to freeze them and put them back, because this way we can stir fry them. I still got a bunch of canned beans from last year. Did not put anything out like tomatoes or cucumbers, nothing like that out, just because we've got so much from the years before that we're still eating on it. So we actually put a lot of tomatoes back. We got some that are canned. We got a lot that have been dried and put away. So we got so much stuff from the last 2 years, it's incredible. And our neighbors will appreciate some of this. Not only that, we got neighbors that grow different stuff like turnips and other stuff like that, like watermelon and stuff like that. So when we take them some of what we got out of here, they turn around and supplement us with stuff that we wouldn't be growing over here. So it's a good symbiotic relationship. All right, guys, Flash 001 USA. Hope you guys are having a good one. Hope the summer's being good to you and the weather's being good to you. Take care. We'll catch you maybe on one more garden video for the year. Toodaloos.